Okay, and we're back. So here we go. The B&O headquarters building is a historic office building at 2 North Charles Street. All right, 13-story, 220-foot skyscraper. Although it doesn't make the list of the tallest building, at least the top 15 I saw. Gets interesting here now. This was designed by a joint Boston and Baltimore-based architectural firm, Parker and Thomas, and constructed in 1904 to 1906. And given the date of the fire, you would think this also happens quickly, 18 months ish, because the fire was in February. They had to clear the rubble and everything out. There's no way they could have started construction much before April or May at the earliest. All right, so to have a 06 opening, you're looking at 18 months. And so I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm going to get, I don't know if so when the original Second Empire-style headquarters on the corner of Baltimore and Calvert Street was destroyed, the executives decided to build a new 13-story steel frame building 2 blocks west of the old site. So now they mention in that article that I referenced for the fire video about the iron structure that was the original B&O building, but they didn't have any pictures of it there, and I have not, going into this, looked to see if there are pictures of it, but this was the architectural style attributed to it. So I'm betting it was magnificent, and I am going to look for photos of it. But so this is the building, the style of building that they say burned down in the Baltimore fire. This Beaux Arts architecture, which is interesting because I never saw that term looking at all the other architecture I have. Beaux Arts. At least it's not ringing a bell to me anyway. So they talk about the design, and I'm not going to get too deep into the history of it because it really speaks for itself. So here it says built in 06. I'm sure it was just opened. It was the headquarters for 75 years, and here's a picture of it. Yeah, and this is what's going to spring it. It's a U-shaped building, and I have a picture coming up in my gallery about, when I discovered that this was a U-shaped building, and that made me want to look at, it brought to mind this. This is the map of Baltimore from 1792, and you can see this is the downtown area here, and this would be the area we're looking at way before the fire. All right, and I want to point out some of these structures and the shapes of them. And I'm sure I've done this in another video. I've made a lot of videos now, but they have U shapes and H shapes, just like this building. Right, so look at this one. All right, that is a big building in a U shape, and it's just interesting. Why the U shape? Because what purpose do these windows serve? They're not really great for letting in a lot of natural light. The sun can't really angle in on them too much with such a narrow gap. So you're really just looking across at each other for what for what purpose? And that's what I always thought was interesting about these shaped buildings in these older buildings. So now when we move to like the modern maps, right, and see this stuff, it makes me wonder, did they copy that type of architecture, or these types of buildings? Maybe this building was there in 1792, right? Certainly they were. Certainly, if these weren't, if these are copies, then the buildings that were there and were cataloged and marked by this map maker anyway, are in the same shape, 100 years earlier. Very interesting detail, I thought. I don't know. So let's get back now to the tour. All right, so, and where I left off in the last video was about this, right? I don't know what this could possibly be, but it's amazing to me, and it goes everywhere. But not with the lions, it doesn't, right? Now I'm going back around and around. It's on top of this. See, I didn't really notice it. Maybe is it? Let's go. Wait a minute. No, it's not with the lions. All right. Maybe I didn't get. But here we have. Here's Jesus Cristo. All right, and he's got the torches. All right, and he's got a star of some. This is almost like a turban-y kind of headdress. You know, looks like the Dead Crow headdress. Although I never saw the movie, but I remember the promotional material of Johnny Depp as Tonto. It reminds me kind of that. And here you can see more clearly the serpent image. You know, maybe if that's intentional or not. You know, or just an optical illusion. You know, for these folds here. You know, but here I think above the people maybe, and I didn't notice it when I was actively taking the pictures. Oh, well, it's above this. And again, I think it's interesting that they would remake these and yet put nothing in there. Why is that blank? It's just so much dead space and such ornate work, you know, and this is just a slab of clay carved down. You know, my friend Sophie shared a great video with me about the techniques used in doing this. And although it does take artisanal skill, it's not it's not miracle work. But, the fact that they do it up high off the ground is interesting. And here it is, right? Let's see, is that there's nothing, who knows what was in there or what could possibly been on there. But at least, I still don't get the full, one of these pictures I know I get the full thing. But here it is the one way, right? And then it just goes back the other. Oh, maybe I get it here. Here are the two dudes that are on top, and I didn't read about them yet. So I'll go back and read about them in a second. But here I think I at least get a good view. Front and then back, or back and then front, however you wanted to interpret that. Mesmerizing to me. That's, again, not an accident, not a coincidence. What does that say? That says something. So let's talk about these two guys, these two goofy guys up here. See, they talk about the H shape, right? And let's do that too real quick. This is why these videos go on for so long. I will note the trolley tracks. Thank you. You can see where the stuff is, all right? But you can't get up any closer. At least with this image, I can't get up any closer on it. At least, there are some people around here. But there are trolley tracks. But it is interesting to look on. The road is still very dirt. They said this was 1910, I believe that little blurb said. So you can see the building next to it, which I do take a picture of, isn't here. Or is it, and this is whited out? I mean, this looks, look at how fuzzy it looks over here. This looks like it could possibly be doctored in some way or deliberately overexposed around the edges to hide some things. I don't know. Just an observation, So, oh, I can get closer. Nice. It's hard for me to tell what could possibly, they look a little different. But it is open. There doesn't look to be metal or anything written on there. Amazing. So there has to be some other purpose. What could that mean? Because to me, it just is so much dead space, dead air. I don't get that. Anybody smoking out here? I'm constantly looking for smokers now. Although I guess at the time maybe cigarettes weren't the thing, but it would be cigars. I don't know. But people are just there's a few people standing around. All right, let's get back. Interesting. You see, I could just do this all day, guys. Yeah. And believe it or not, I do think, oh my God, how many people could possibly make it through all this stuff? I mean, here's the front of it. I think I do get a shot that's very similar to this. So here you can see here's the train that he's holding, and maybe I do have a better picture because for some reason this doesn't look right to me. And what he's holding in his hand, to me, like, you know, it could be anything. I'm disappointed with that. But I love, like, look at the, you know, the musculature in this guy's neck. This is a guy who lives with severe constipation. I don't know how do you get neck muscles like that? I don't understand. You know, he looks like this looks like an ice cream cone or a microphone or something. I don't know. It could, you know, use your own imagination. Flowing robes and a wreath of something. Let's see, do I get a better one? Not really. Dark, though, because it casts a shadow, the weird U-shaped shadow, right? Here's another one that could be. This one is a little less Jesus Christo, but again, you know, very interesting headdresses with torches, you know, torches and headdresses. Why? And then this, what does that say above them? You know, another one. I'm going right around the building. This one has different features too, and a different style of headdress, and you know, but again, also some slightly different looking down here. And it's unfortunate too because the architecture is getting or not the architecture, but perhaps the techniques used are getting exposed. I do have a close up of it coming. It's really gridded out. I don't understand what purpose was. There's another one of these that says nothing. And yet another one. I just cannot believe that the purpose of those is to be empty. You know, there's a reason for it. What's the reason? Oh, good. I do have a good close-up one. Yeah, he's got the train clearly. Yeah, this is where I saw it. Like we have the lion heads back here in the metalwork, right? And this one's could even be not a lion or another type of big cat anyway. And cats play an important part going forward. They have it all underneath them, the same thing, backwards and forwards. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's, you know, it is crazy hypnotic to me. Just going around the sides again. You know, you can take and stop any of these if you want. These videos are going on way too long. Like I said, I try for coverage. Try to get as many pictures as I can. You see that great angle, that upshot there. Another one of these clear leaves. I wonder what, you know, and sometimes I wonder some of this, you know, this leaf work could be tobacco. But there's a lot of seashell stuff happening as well. See a lot of the seashell. Here's the building that's next to it. Let's look at that. When I first looked at it, I was like, ooh, what's going on the top up there? You know, so I tried to get up as close as I could to it. And again, you see, who knows what was all of these spikes and spires and antenna, you know, what could have, you know, been happening up there when this building was constructed. And then I'm back here, but let's take a look at that building from above because it's really awesome. Let's see if I can get in on it a little bit. Yeah, not so great. I'm not going to go too much, but here you clear classic H shape. You know what? For what purpose? Why did this need to be H shaped? What's the architectural benefit of that? You know, if not to be like a capacitor on a chipboard. I mean, that's just what all, you know, whatever, you know. And so interesting, you know, this again, this would have been one of those more U-shaped ones, you know, with a big tower on top of it. Let's continue along, shall we? Because there's still some interesting stuff to go with this building. And then I'm going to maybe this one make a short part two because then the Bank of America building is going to be epic. So this is the back. So now I've gone around to the other side. Where am I? Where did we go? Darn it. How did I lose my place? here. See, blindness. Sorry, guys. So I've done all of this. Gotten my full coverage of these two sides. I've taken pictures on this side, and now I'm here. I want to walk behind the alley and see if there's anything behind the alley. But I was denied. It is completely fenced off. There was a weird construction truck parked right there. I stuck my camera through there to see. Again, had to be dug out to connect whatever this side street is to this alley. Needed to be dug out at some point to create that stairs. It's not the same level. So dejected, I walk back around and I take some pictures of the giant elevators they had to cut out of the sidewalks to get stuff in and out of the basements. Which again just doesn't fit the. This is interesting to me. Just seeing it quickly, I wanted to get up close on it, but it's not exactly. Just more leaf work going up. And these are nice. I didn't really focus in on these at all. See, you can see how this is all. I don't know if this is. I couldn't tell if this is mesh that covers these, or if this is cut in there somehow, maybe revealing how the technique that was made, or how these things were made. But it definitely does not help in taking effective photographs from a distance anyway. It really fuzzes everything out. Here you can clearly see how easy it is to, or I can't clearly see, but it should be easy to see how an optical illusion can create, some form of serpentine lizard face here or something, coming down from here. And she's on the back side. No, maybe not. Maybe this is the one. Yeah, the way I remember, this is actually cut into the. But on some of them, it does almost look like a mesh over, but it's definitely cut into the stuff. And now I'm behind. I want to go around to the other. I said, okay, well maybe I didn't look down this alley, the first time. Down this side, when I approached, because I approached from this direction. And it again denied. Cannot get back in that alley. So I do not know if there are faces there. So let's keep going. All right, so I got the coverage there, and and this is that, and so that is the stuff that's on the B&O Railroad building, the replacement building. And before I move on to the next building, and after that, I'm going to close this episode out and do an episode, part 3 rather. No, where is it? Here. Again, I just want to stress that the Roman connections, the Greek and Roman, what was so important about Roman mythology, Greek mythology, and things like that to the founders of the railroad and the Baltimore city and these other cities, because the same stuff is all over Asheville anyway. And now since I've developed this interest in, this topic, those are the only 2 cities I've really been. I have been to Philadelphia, but not enough to, and I did take some great photos of, below level windows and things like that from Philadelphia. Someday there will be a road trip episode to Philadelphia, probably soon in the springtime, I'd imagine. So I imagine if I go there, I'm going to find lots of Roman stuff. So what is the key? Why is it that stuff? Why isn't it the more Christian stuff that should be everywhere? And why the animals? What's important? What's the symbolism for the animals? And what does all of that mean? In the world of 1904 Baltimore and 1904 industry. And, I don't know. It's interesting for those connections. And I'm going to I hope I can sort of figure some of it out myself in the part 3 episode by talking stuff through, but I don't know, maybe you guys can help me with that too, because there's more connections between the Greeks and the Romans and the Masonic stuff, whereas my initial investigations into what the Masons and Freemasons were and all of that, it always went to Egyptian schools. The information was always going in that direction. They were always Egyptian mystery schools. But there's more to this there's more to this Dionysus stuff. And like I said, I may have mentioned in the other video about the um, or the first part about Fort McHenry and this Orpheus statue that's there. Why isn't that a Francis Scott Key statue? Is there one there? I don't know. So anyway, walking down, we're now we're coming up here. So this is right across the street here. Can we make it out? I mean, you can see the top of it here. But it's interesting that this is what the roof of it looks like now. That it's not all marble or whatever. Something is just too much stuff happening on my computer. It's moving too slow for me. So we're here now. There's the interesting. I'm gonna go forward. I'm not going to spend too much time with this one because, again, I didn't research any of it, but I'm sure, like I said earlier, it is for lease. We can throw a big party in there. Monstrous doorway. Monstrous. Okay? 10 to 12 feet if it's an inch, and made out of metal, and here's that same sort of pattern that was on that one, the earlier one on Utah Street that I had pictures of. I guess that's the Tudor Rose up here, but this one is kind of cool. I mean, you could tell this is, not that late, but it has more of a look like the thematic signature flowers look, right? I wish I didn't think of it. I should have brought up one of those. But it does, right? This looks more like the thematic pattern than even some of the church ones. But definitely representative of the Tudor Rose as far as I'm concerned. Let's continue on. I got a couple more pictures of this guy. This is the upper corner. And again, I like how, these upper parts look so much older than some of the stuff that's closer to the ground. Look at here, again with all the swirling and the Fibonacci. It's everywhere. And these could be wings of some sort. I don't think I got a good front view of the corner, but look at all the swirls and the seashell. Who knows? Like I said, an active imagination can see all kinds of stuff in here. This, I think, is great. Also interesting, it's like a headdress, like a crown on top of this Roman building. Yet, they got the rose that turns into the spiral, which is so common, right? Again, active imaginations can see all kinds of symbolism in here. We got the like a seashell thing happening, which, some of this could be fire, claw, who knows? But definitely roses are in there, and they turn into the spirals, which is, right? The great architect. Here's the other corner, which I'm sure matches the other one, but just really sort of amazing. What are they telling us with this stuff? Why the Fibonacci spiral everywhere? And there's interesting symbolism in here too. And again, once it comes to the population explosion, whenever Mud City takes me there, Mud City, yeah. Whenever it takes me there, I will get into some of my thoughts about what some of this could represent, because I have some interesting ideas, I think, but I want to see if they get played out further before I talk to them. Although no one loves the taste of their own foot more than me, if I can avoid it. Yeah. This is next door. This is in between, actually, and I love this because it's just, they turned it into a peeking house. But that this went to the sidewalk, if not deeper, right? And I love the way this was bricked up, because even the bricks have hinges. What great doors! It's amazing. And, who knows again what they were trying to say with that, but this building is certainly older, right? And again, when I see these elongated openings, it just, makes me think they were open air. So I think now, yep, now we're going into the Bank of America building. So I'm going to stop this one here, set a timer for the Bank of America building, and see how we do. But look at that right there. I believe this is eye level. As I was just walking along, my eye caught this, but I cannot. This was now almost 3 days ago already, or 2 full days ago already. So I can't remember if this is the first one I saw or just the first one I took a picture of because I saw what it was, and no, this had to be. This is at the ground because it's at the base. All right, closing this one out. Part 3 coming up. No intro for part 3. Just bringing it up for you guys so no one has to sit through a 2-hour freaking presentation. All right, cheers, guys. Next one coming up.